nothing. But you know what is worse than having a blank file is that the people just put like those cheesy ass lines there. For guys, it's always like, oh, good vibes only. Oh, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I've seen those lines like millions of times on different kind of like fuckboys vile. And I, no matter how attractive they are, I just swipe right like immediately when I see this. Hello, hello, hello. Happy New Year and welcome back. For the past 2 months, I was busy with traveling, so I did not really film a sit down and let's chat video. But I did upload my Australian Bali vlog up to my channel, so if you want to figure out what did I do and what kind of stupid things and craziest thing I did in Bali and Australia, you can just check it out and let me know how you think of it. Anyway, I know the topic of dating app has been filmed like millions of times on YouTube, but I still want to present to you my version of it. So my like Angie version of dating app analysis. So first of all, why am I using dating apps? Or in general, why are people using dating apps? I mean, come on, it's 2020, and then I'm pretty sure you guys are all using dating apps, if not all of them, or maybe at least one or two of them. And it's not something like, you know, you avoid talking about, and there's no shame of using dating apps anymore. Like maybe before, people are kind of like a little bit close-minded on it, you know, like people can tell you that, oh, you are like slutty, oh, you're desperate if you're using dating apps. But I mean, no, that's definitely not a situation now. Like if you don't use the dating apps, and how do you even meet people nowadays, huh? Like that's just like, that's very sad, but that's like a current situations right now. I mean, I do miss the good old days, you know, where people just meet organically and fall in love like that. And I think like my grandparents' generation, or you know, people used to be able to tell their grandchild and be like, and I met your grandma or grandpa in a coffee house when we were lining up for the cashier. But for our generation, the story would be, listen, I met your grandpa on Bumble, and thank God he did not send me a dick pic, and that's how we kind of like talk to each other afterwards. And it's just very interesting how like the version of story would change in in 2020, or like in like millennium kind of like situation. And I don't really meet that many interesting people in my real life, and I even struggle so much just to make like real friends as an adult. I dedicated a whole video about just that topic, and I mean, if you're interested, then click here and check it out. And even if I, you know, like if I see someone attractive in real life, and I wouldn't necessarily just go forward for it. People are so busy and focused on their phones nowadays, they can't even be bothered to make eye contact with like a real human being. And let's say that I managed to start a conversation with this attractive person I see on the bus or on the metro, and a lot of the chance, you know, like that person would not be into it, or he might be taken already. Like that's always a possibility, right? So I would say the two biggest advantage of dating apps are, first, it kind of allows you to meet people like who are out of your comfort zone or who are out of your social bubbles. And second, it presents you a portfolio of people who should be single and who are also as desperate as you are. So that's, I mean, honestly, that are the only 2 points, like 2 good points of dating apps that I can think of. And my personal experiences on dating app needs to be traced back to 2014. I think I was sorry, I was a sophomore student in uni, and my best friend Mari introduced me to Tinder at the time. And I think I downloaded and swiped for like 2 days, and then I deleted it because I received like too many down to fuck, and it just makes me, you know, kind of grossed out by it. And the second time I used dating app, and still Tinder at the time, was in the summer of 2015. I broke up with my first boyfriend, and I was just bored, and I wanted to move on, and I want to find a rebound. And so I downloaded Tinder, and I did not expect to find my second boyfriend several months later on Tinder. And since then, we had this love hate, on and off toxic relationship. And in the summer of 2017, I finally broke up with this person. And then since then, I'm being on and off dating apps. And then, just for the record, I've only used Tinder and Bumble, so I can only speak of my experiences on these two apps. I know there are tons of it out there. There are like Coffee Meets Bagel, there are Hinge, and there, I think, East Meet East, like an app just designed for Asians, which is really funny. And I've never really tried all of those. And the thing for me on dating apps is always like a vicious cycle. So I will be like wanting to meet someone, and I'll wanted to go on dates, and I will be actively swiping and talking to people on those apps, and then I just get tired of like repeating my life story like again and again and again with like different kind of people in different kind of like social settings, and then I don't know, like it's just not that exciting to like tell people your story for so many times, and then, or like I probably just get weirded out by one or two guys, or like I actually like someone, and I get rejected. So when that happened, I will kind of like stop using it for 2 or 3 months, and then I will be wanting to meet someone again, and then I would just actively go on it. So the cycle, it's always been like this for me. I've definitely had more awful and boring dates compared to happy and exciting dates on the dating apps. And it's just extremely hard for you to hit off with someone there. I entirely give up on Tinder because I just receive overly sexual message there. I mean, DTF is like by default. I'm sure you guys can all relate to that. I also receive message like sit on my face, and it just makes me very uncomfortable. And especially, I never really get it, how can people just say that in like the first 2 or 3 sentences in a conversation. So like that's the reason I deleted Tinder, and I started using Bumble. So on Bumble, I can choose whoever I wanted to talk to, even though I match with them. I know that some of girls do not like it because you have to make the first move, but I have no objections on doing so. But the thing is, like, you have 24 hours of deadline, so you have to talk to them within 24 hours, and then the guy has to respond to you within 24 hours as well. Otherwise the match disappear. But come on, we all have life, and I'm not like on it 24/7. So for me, I always kind of miss the deadline, and then a lot of match just kind of go waste that way. And even though I managed to start a conversation, and then 90% of the time, it just dead. And and I think that's the situation for you guys as well. It's really hard to maintain a conversation going on the dating apps, and I personally believe it's really because of the lack of effort from both sides. And let's just face it, the bloody truth is we don't really care about strangers online. We don't feel like we're obligated to entertain them when we don't even know them. And the worst part is we don't even bother to be polite on those apps, and we do all different kind of like bad behaviors and fucked up things. Like we send overly sexual message, and we send dick pictures, and I don't know, like we're asking people to send news like right away. We ghost on people, we unmatch and match people. It's just like all kind of bad behaviors like this. We don't even feel bad about it just because we don't know this person online. And dating apps makes finding a date like as easy as you go to grocery shops and buy chips, and if you haven't get a chance to purchase barbecue flavor today, you can always go back and get barbecue flavor tomorrow. And it makes you like less likely to be contained with the person you're currently talking to, because you always feel like you're missing out on those better ones who are waiting to be swiped on. And it's just like, it makes me feel like it's very sad. And also, when you're getting rejected by someone on apps, or you get ghosted, when you just go straight back to the apps and start swiping without even sit down and think about like what went wrong, or like give yourself a bit time to reflect and digest about it. So is that really healthy, and is that really helpful? Let's take some time to talk about dating app profile, shall we? I know that dating app is this deadly shallow platform where you judge someone solely based on their physical appearance. If that's the case, then why bother to show people that you have personalities, right? As long as you have stunning hot photos. I mean, I get it. Like writing a bio, it's not easy. If you write it for too long, people think you're trying too hard. If you write it too less, and people think you're not genuine enough. So the easiest solution is just you leave it blank and you write nothing. But what is worse than having a blank file is that the people just put like those cheesy ass lines there. For guys, it's always like, oh, good vibes only. Oh, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I've seen those lines like millions of times on different kind of like fuckboys file. And no matter how attractive they are, I just swipe right like immediately when I see this. Also, I like the bios for girls are actually no better. I've switched the setting and just to see like I was being bored, and I just want to see how girls profile look like, how their pictures looks like in my area. And then like their bios were just really like no better. The majority of the time like girls does not put like bio either, or sometimes they're just trying very hard to be unique on those platforms. Like maybe in real life I am or you are just a basic bitch, but dating apps somehow you describe yourself as like a manic pixie dream girl. I mean, that's another problem of dating apps, because it's purely like online and no one knows you. You can just use other people's pictures. You can use like a model's picture, and you can like fake a very beautiful bio, and then everyone will buy it, because it's like no one knows who you are, and you can just fake yourself a new identity, and you fake yourself a different kind of like life story, and people will buy it. That's a whole another topic about dating app. I could just go on and on for like hours, all the stories about catfish and not being genuine enough, stuff like that. But it's just like like although there are so many negativity and there are so many downsides about dating app, people are still on it. Like let's just face it, like we can't really meet people in real life anymore. I mean, yes, we can, but I just feel like for our generation, we're losing the ability to connect with people in real life. Like we can be sending DMs and tweet and back tweet, and we're so good at those. Like we're so good at Facetune and Photoshop, and then having like an awesome kind of personality online, but we don't know how to connect with people in real life. Like we get shy, we get nervous, and we get awkward, and we don't really know how to maintain a relationship in real life, but we can do it so good online. And it's just, I know that we're not going to be able to avoid dating apps in the future, because that's the trend and that's how majority of people meeting the partners. I honestly can't think of any of my friends who did not meet their partners on dating apps, and those single friends, they're like actively using apps to find like someone. So I mean, we're going to be using it for sure in the future. I think the problem is how we should improve, I mean, not the apps, but how should we improve ourselves and our behaviors to make those experiences better for us. I want to leave this video kind of like open-ended. I wanted to know like your guys' experiences and story on dating apps, and let's just chat about it, okay? Like let's just, I don't know, all talk about our craziest stories on dating app, and then let's just laugh about it. And then if you have any suggestions or like opinions on how we should behave to make the entire this kind of like online dating community better, and let me know as well. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and stay tuned for another one. Bye.